Good morning. Well, I got the Hallicrafters S-86 up on the bench, and I'm having a hell of a time with it because I can't really listen to it. It's loaded with crackles. I still say it's silver mica disease. Well, it was crackling like hell, and then when I started hooking up the signal tracer audio cable to it, as soon as I did that, the crackling stopped and the sound was nice and clean coming out of the speaker and of course coming out of here. Now I left everything, I shut everything down, I didn't disconnect anything. I had to use an oscilloscope probe for the, I got a BNC connector on the ICO 147A because that's what I put on them. And I have to use an oscilloscope probe so I can pick up the signal off the volume control. Because using a clip lead with these here on it was introducing so much hum, because this is not shielded here, that I couldn't even listen to it. So anyways, I'm getting good sound out of here and out of here, so I still don't know if it's in the audio or it's in the IFs. I am 99% sure it's silver mica disease. 99%. Now, I do not have the detector probe for the ICO. I have the diodes. I got 1N34As, supposed to be a 1N48, which was in there, but from what I've been reading and people telling me, 1N34A is what you should be using in there to replace that. Well, I got the parts to make it, but I don't have an enclosure for it. You know, it needs to be a shielded enclosure, and I don't have anything to put it in. So I don't have a detector probe. So therefore, I cannot go into the on the IFs and see if I can read something on that. Connecting the 10x probe on the oscilloscope, all I'm getting is a sine wave in there, a ripple. And so I am 99% sure it is silver mica disease. And if that's the case, I may have to get rid of the radio and get something else in here, because I cannot deal with working on these IF cans. They're way too small. But I need to know if it's actually a noisy resistor in the audio or not. Because as soon as I hooked up this connection, I put the radio back on, everything was quiet. So we're going to turn it on now on camera. I got it running to my isolation transformer because this is a line connected set. So I got my isolation transformer up here, and I got to turn my ICO 147A on, and what I do is I have the volume set on the ICO so I can hear it, and then I got another speaker over here which is connected to the speaker connection of the S-86. So I get them like balanced. So if I hear static in this one and I don't hear the static in this one, that means it's a noisy resistor in the audio amplifier section, in the audio section, which I'm hoping is what it is. Now I recapped this whole radio and then replaced some of the resistors, but I did not replace every single resistor in here. So intermittents are the very hardest thing to service, because it doesn't do it all the time. But yet, let me close this thing up and put it away. And even when I first turn it on, before it has a chance to warm up, it's full of static. Crackling and static and everything else. And the sensitivity goes down to nothing. But I can't tell if it's audio or it's the IF cans. It's not the tubes. I substituted tubes. All the tubes are new old stock. I swapped out tubes. It didn't make a bit of difference. So this is a real puzzler, because it doesn't do it all the time. So, but it's been doing it to before I pull this out of the corner where I had it. It was so bad with static that I couldn't get anything on it. I pulled it out, put it on the bench, and it was loaded with static. So I shut it down, hooked up my system here. While it was staticky, I probed around in there and touched the resistors in case something, tapped on the IF cans and stuff. Nothing. So I shut it down, hooked up the ICO, turned it back on. Perfect. And it was running for an hour last night. I was listening to the hams on it. I still got only a small inside antenna. But no static, nice and clear, and good and stable. So we're going to fire it up now, and we'll see if it still plays just as good. The station I had it on was a local AM station. See if that still works. So let's do that right now. I know you can't see the ICO. We're going to turn both of these on at the same time. I'm going to turn my isolation transformer on. I've got the variac set at 118 volts. All I got to do is flip the switch on the isolation transformer. We'll turn the ICO on. Flip the switch for the ICO. Put the radio on. I didn't touch anything. If I hear static out of the ICO, then I know it's silver mica disease, and I might as well just close it up, pack it away. Sure, I'm still grounded here. Ground leads. All right, let's turn. Well, that's the fluorescent light. I'm gonna have to turn the lights down here. It's gonna be a little dark. All right. All right, I got my speaker here, and I got sound coming out of here. But now I don't have a radio station. I had one last night. This radio is very strange. It just goes dead. I still say it's silver mica disease. All right, that's my mistake. I had it on the 80-meter band because that's what I listened to last night. I used to love to make you cry. Try not to get any music because of the copyright Nazis. Will nail you. Right now, no static. Just the normal, radio static. And I could turn this sensitivity down. Now, I'm not sure exactly where the sensitivity control is. I got to get my magnifier and iLope and look at the schematic. I turned the sensitivity control all the way down. As I recall, the static was still coming in even with the sensitivity control all the way down and nothing, the antenna disconnected. So I think the sensitivity control is in the antenna circuit, but I'm not 100% sure. But what I'm trying to find out is, am I going to get noise in this? And if I'm still getting noise coming to the ICO, which I'm not getting right now, then I know that it is silver mica disease. If I get the noise in the speaker of the radio, which is external speaker right now, and not in the ICO, that means the audio section is where the noise is coming from. And the other way around, if I'm getting good clean sound from the audio section on both these units here, then I know it's silver mica disease. So right now it's not doing anything. It's one of these things that is taking up bench space. I pulled it out yesterday. Well, now I just put up the sensitivity control. I lost everything. So that means one thing: silver mica disease. Even though it's not staticky, I lost that weak AM station. I didn't want to leave it on the strong one because there was music in there. But let me go to that strong one, see if I can get it back. Well, it definitely lost sensitivity. It's just like it's... Yeah. But it's no static. It won't do it when I want it to. And I tapped on everything gently on the resistors with my plastic ballpoint pen. I couldn't make it do it. So that's where I'm at right now with this. Okay, I left the light on. I got another AM station, but no static. I'm getting clean sound from this. I'm getting clean sound from the amplifier here.
The fact that she was working for Obama was all anybody needed to know. She doesn't need to know that conservatives are to be discriminated against.
That's where I'm at right now. I can't give you any more information. I would like to be able to let you hear the racket that this thing was making. But I know what's going to happen. I'll put it all back in the case and immediately turn it on. It'll be loaded with static. And there's nothing shorting in here. I double-checked everything. And it doesn't matter whether I have this thing on the bench flat down, on an end, or anything else. It didn't make any difference. Sometimes it'll play very good without any problem. All right, I should have left the camera on. I didn't do a thing to this radio except turn the sensitivity control down and put it up. You can just barely hear that guy talking right now. I didn't do anything but turn the camera off, and just for the heck of it, I turned the sensitivity control down, brought it up. Nothing. Very, very faint. I didn't turn the volume down or anything. Now it's coming back. This radio is really messed up, and I don't know what's wrong with it. I still say it's silver mica disease. Can't be anything else. It's got to be that. If I can only get the static back again, then I can eliminate the audio amplifier if it comes through, as I said, on the ICO, nice and clean, because I got the ICO connected to the high side of the volume control. Right after, right comes off the detector. So... not coming in very good though. Sensitivity's all the way up. And I shut the standby off and put it back on. Sometimes that gives it a kick and comes back in, but that hasn't been doing that lately.
What's the big deal here?
See that?
Unmasking's a crime. Can be a crime.
Now that's a New York station. That's not shortwave.
Everybody knows that name now. Michael Flynn forced to resign from the Trump administration.
All right, so I'm going to play around with this throughout the day and the evening because I want to get it to do static, So anyways, I did not receive an answer from a reply from Ron C. out of Florida, so when I get this done, I'm just going to scrap that amplifier, because I can use it for parts. I could probably use the meter out of it, the panel out of it, and definitely the tubes out of it, because I don't have a heck of a lot of tubes, and every tube I get, it would be helpful, especially the 45s, because I'm not sure. I think they're a little on the expensive side. I don't know how good those tubes are in that, but if they, I'll test them. And I think there's 3 6SQ7s in there. They come in handy. I'm not sure if this radio uses any. Offhand, I don't know, but the tubes are all good in here anyhow. So, yeah, that sensitivity control on that Hallicrafters S-86, it's a good question. Where the heck is it? Here it is. It is in on the 6SG7. Cathode. It's on the 6SG7 cathode. And the standby switch and receive switch S4, when it's in standby, grounds out the grid of the 25L6. When it is in receive, it brings, the switch is thrown to the bottom of the sensitivity control, which in turn, it's a 10,000 ohm control, which in turn goes to the cathode of the 6SG7 through (180 or 150 ohms. It's very, very hard for me to read that. Cathode resistor. So we know it does not throw out the B+, which is what I thought it might do. All it does is ground out the audio output 25L6 grid to ground. So whenever I just turn, all I did is turn that down. So there is a slim possibility, but why the static? I'm not getting it now. That's what bothers me. There is a slim possibility that the RF amplifier V1 6SG7, where the sensitivity control is on the cathode of that tube, there could be something in that circuit. And these are things I'll have to research. And that would be SG7, probably up in this mess here, which is the most congested part of the set, or one of the most congested parts. I'm not positive now, because I really need to look at the other side of the chassis and see what tube numbers they are. But anyways, these are things I'm going to do off camera. If I wanted to make this video primarily to let you hear the static, but it wasn't making that static. The radio is very changeable, and sometimes it works like works really well. Other times it's just like it's got no ears, as the old CBers would say. It just, it's We already know that these radios aren't much good beyond 20 megacycles. 20 to 30 megacycles is virtually dead up there. Forget about getting, you know, 28, 29 megacycles, 30. You're not going to get nothing. It's totally dead. It will pick up a signal from the signal generator, but that's at that frequency, but that's it. So they're not, well, basically it's not much more than a 5-tube set anyways, or a 6-tube set, with added coils and stuff in them. So really they're not like one of these big boat anchor things when you have like 10 or 15 tubes in them, you know. So you can't expect everything, you know. But when it worked pretty good, considering I only had a little wire and I have to shut my LED lights off when I'm listening to the 75 and 80 meter band. So I need to get the wire outside. I keep saying that. I just need to get the wire. I don't have anything to use for antenna wire. Years ago, I used to be able to go to Radio Shack and get all that stuff, and now it's everything. Well, I guess I can get it on eBay, because that's where I do all my buying anyways, but it's not a priority right now. So anyways, oh, by the way, the B&K dot bar crosshatch generator here, I put it temporarily back in the case. It's got two electrolytics, upright paper electrolytics, 10 microfarad, I think, at 175 volts or thereabouts. That definitely have to be replaced. The main filter can that's on here appears to be okay. I ran it on the Variac dim bulb and everything. It's drawing about 500 mils, half an amp. But I haven't checked the output of it yet, and it's got about 6 CG7s. Those are television tubes, so they're not any good for radio. There's, I think, a 6C4 in here and a 12A T7, I think, in here. So right now I'm going to leave it whole. It had a 15 amp fuse in here. And whoever worked on it put a piece of solder on the back, standard gauge solder on the back, and used it as a fuse, I guess, in series with the fuse that's in there. I took that out and put a 1 amp quick blow in there, and it works just fine. But there's not much use for a dot and bar generator. But right now I'll just keep it there. It's not a priority. Then I got my Coltronics book from eBay, and it gives newer data, tube data, also obsolete tube data, and it explains a little bit more in the beginning here, but the print is so tiny. I had really, with my eye lope and my lighted, this works very well, this little Chinese thing here. I mean, I can see it good with this, but I gotta go, you know, like this. You know, and it's very, very hard. But it tells you in more detail than that book I downloaded for the tube tester of what these numbers mean. And I was not aware that when they got 1 or 2 numbers right after the tube listing in parentheses, it means those pins should show short. Well, that other book never mentioned that, so this helps me a lot. So I got this from eBay, which is where I get all my stuff, and I keep that with the tester. So I think I'm going to end this video right now. I did want to kind of make this, and I was hoping that I can get this to make static. If this does make a lot of static, I'll stick a little video clip on another video so you can hear it, because it's like when you got a toothache, but when you go to the dentist it's all gone. You know what I'm saying? It's one of them things. So that's it. So I'll be playing around with this throughout the day, on and off. The weather here is breezy, but otherwise no problem. Whether I'll do any more yard sales this week or not, I don't know. It depends on my money so far, and so forth. And on the tube tester itself, it's right here. As you can see, I did not paint the top, but I think I'm going to. I think this came out really sharp, in my opinion, but opinions are like bungholes. Everybody's got one. But I think I'm going to paint this top black. Not right away. I can do that right on the bench here. It's a latex paint. And I can do it right here once I get this radio out of the way. It's not a priority, and it dries very quickly. So that's it. That's all I've got to say. And I want to make one mention. That last video now is only my opinions, how I feel, and it's just expressing my opinion and nothing more. Some of you have commented they turn the news off and don't watch anything. Well, if you want to be like, what is it, an ostrich, and bury your head in the sand and leave your body sticking up, and, you know, figure you're out of danger by, you know, well, you want to do that, go ahead. I wonder if you people do that when you got a hurricane coming your way. Do you turn off the television and not pay attention to it? That's all I'm going to say. Thanks, everybody, for watching. I appreciate it, and I also appreciate all the kind words and, you know, your concerns for my wife's upcoming surgery. I really do appreciate that. Thank you very much, everybody. And this old goat will be making more videos. You know that. So stay tuned. Adios, amigos.